He lost my trust. Now I just look back this thing on up. Wait, fool for you. You lost my trust. Now I just look back this thing on up. Okay, I am back, y'all. I can't play it too long. I'll be with you. I will be with you in a minute. I just couldn't play it too loud before YouTube, Sorry, y'all. I couldn't play this song too long because YouTube will come for me, okay? They would love to hit me with a copy claim. So I just wanted to just say to y'all all, like, these people are just finding every little thing they can to try to drag this poor woman, and don't show no compassion, no love, and no respect for the family that's grieving and going through this difficult time. Instead of all of these ugly, vile things they saying out of their mouth, why don't they just offer words of hope and prayer? And prayer, and it's sad that it's black men on their platform doing this. Black men. To me, it sounds like they promote violence against women. Tommy Sotomayor, whatever his name. I don't even go to that man's platform. I saw something that he put. I already said I will not mess with his platform. Tariq Nasheed, he need to stay on just fighting for reparations and just leave that conversation alone. You ain't got a dog in this fight. If you ain't here to help uplift the community and to see that this is happening a lot around black women, and you're not going to say something to bring awareness, then you need to just shut the fuck up. They all need to just shut up, because this, what they saying out of their mouth, is the reason why we see the problems we see in our community. It's men like them that sit on their platform, maybe because they wasn't the one picked. Now you see why they wasn't picked. Because these are the kind of black men they are. They horrible. They not here to help uplift the community or do nothing. They are selfish, they're ignorant, and they vile. How are y'all going to sit on your platform and say the horrible things about this woman because she decided to date? Now you see why she decided to go with something other than a black man. And the sad thing is that it's a white man, something politician and whatever his name is speaking on this topic, and he's bringing awareness against this white man for what he did. Not every white man is like that. Not every black man is like that. But the ones who are like that, that's sitting around trashing this woman's life, going into her thing, talking about she was a fan, this, that. Let me tell you something. You could look at this girl, even without the makeup. She don't even need that much makeup to show her beauty. She's gorgeous. Even without the makeup, you could see her innocence and her beauty. Women that go around to go for men for money, and men that jump in bed with any man to get on their back to get a Prada bag or Prada shoes or red bottoms or anything of that nature. If she was working her body like that, believe me, it will show. It will show. Her face is pure and innocent, still holding on to her innocence, and she don't got a child out there. She ain't running around with a whole bunch of babies from a different bunch of baby daddies, men slapping her around. This probably been her first experience. We don't even know. She probably still could have been a virgin. She probably just modeled sometimes lingerie. And they making it look like she had some kind of prostitution going on, that she was selling her body. If this woman was selling her body, you will see that she was selling her body. Ain't no way it's not gonna show if that's who she was. I'm a woman. I'm 60 years old, and I still, when I put on whatever, people mistake me for at least 20, maybe about, I would say at least 15 years younger. Because I didn't live out there on my back all the time with everybody digging in me. You can see the difference of a woman's life, the way she lived at 31. I wouldn't even think Ashley was 31. I would think in this picture right now, she'd be like 19. Her youth, you could still see the beauty of her youth. You could tell a whore from a good woman who carried herself with strength and beauty. And that's who she was. And that's what she was selling as her soft life. She didn't want men pounding on her, beating on her, working her hard to make money for them while they lay down and run around and drive their car and be around with other women and everything else like that. I can tell an innocent young woman. As a woman myself and as an older woman, I could tell this woman right here was not out there in those streets like that, laying on her back like that. And I could tell she wasn't selling cootie cat. I could tell the ones who sold the cootie cat and the ones who didn't. And ain't nothing about her life show. This probably was her very first time meeting a man that she really thought really cared about her and gave him a chance. Because even her mother and father was like, well, she was in love. And you could just look at her mother and could tell that her mother was a Christian woman. And you could tell that her family stayed on top of her, of what she was doing. Or they probably trusted this man enough to be with their daughter, and he fooled them because he probably made them feel that he was okay enough to take care of their daughter and make sure she was safe. Because he was older and probably experienced, whatever, but they didn't do enough research. He just flashed money at them and his white privilege, but they didn't do enough, like, go into details of finding out about his background, and he could have told her anything, just like all the rest of them do us. They'll sit there, they'll tell you anything. Oh, me and my wife, we had some problems, and she was a gold digger, and she wasn't clean, or they'll make up anything and tell another woman. And women, we into the guy, we start believing it. That's what they do. And for him to do all of that stuff of giving her a ring and performing in front of the cameras and everything like he was really in love with her, but you could just see in some of the photos that they took that his face didn't show that he was really in love with her. He was probably trying to use her and probably was going to try to sex traffic her, and she just wasn't trying to get down with the program. He probably wanted her to be in bed with him and other women. That's why he took her all the way out there so he can do that kind of damage to her, to a third world country, to destroy her image like that. Because she still had the youth, the beauty of a youthful, innocent woman. She had a great body, a great figure, and everything. And even when she wore this clothes that showed a little bit of her, whatever, it still didn't look slutty. She didn't have everything all up in her behind and her cheeks hanging out all over the place. Only time you saw is when she was in that little red and white, when she came out for her birthday in that red and white, and it was red and white roses, and she was feeding the giraffe. And that was more like a scene for her to take a photo shoot of her out there in at the Zanzibar. And over there at the safari. In her safari gear, the way she modeled that look, where she had the safari shorts on and the blouse and everything. See, she was into selling an image of the high-end life, the life of wherever she traveled, leisure, all of that beauty, and she was marketing herself. She was like a model. She was modeling things, like giving you the look. And she did it well. So I'm sick and tired of these black men like the Tommy Sotomayers, the Tariq Nasheed, whatever the fuck his name is, and all the rest of them. Sitting around bad mouthing this woman and saying things that they saying. While this woman is right now, her family is looking to find some kind of answers and transparency or whatever they going through, they grieving and everything. That's horrible. Then they want to sit up there and talk about black men and the harm done to black men. Bring their own fucking problems. They horrible. A lot of them are horrible. And I don't blame Ashley if she found that she could probably find something better other than them. Because she said it out of that one comment. They don't even know what that comment was about. But they took it and they tried to spin a narrative with it to trash her and say she didn't have any kind of, respect for black men. And she was a divesta. Did they ever show you any proof on their channel of her being a divesta? And a divesta is not a person that goes around and date for money. Divest is a woman that looks for a person who's going to just treat them in the right way that they want to be treated, in the way they treat themselves. Somebody to match that type of energy with them. They're protecting themselves from being harmed by men that are too broken, that are just too destroyed, that they not going to treat them good. They want some man that already got himself together. He ain't probably even got to be a rich man, just a decent guy. He could be working on his own craft, but still in all, still respect her and still, want to treat her nice like a lady and all that other stuff. Who don't want that as a woman? Who wants a man slapping them around? Who wants a man going out there making thousands of babies from other different women and bringing you all that drama? I was in Ashley at one time. I love to wear my little beautiful clothes and dress. That's probably why I'm going so hard at it. Because at 30, guess where I was? Giving myself back to Jesus. Because I got tired of the dating that I was dating out there with black men that were taking me through the changes. I was with one, he had a couple of baby mamas. I was still young, didn't have no kids of my own. And then I was coming out of a marriage, a failed marriage. And I wanted to keep myself innocent. And I didn't want everybody jumping on me and doing whatever as I was going through my season. But I also worked in corporate banking and everything. So I had to dress in a certain way. I had to dress myself in a professional way. I didn't wear all that hoochie coochie stuff, that slutty stuff. Like you see some of these girls in these videos that be shaking they behind and got the thong up they behind and they got the everything out there showing. I just went over the whole thing with R. Kelly while he was trying to make the young ladies look decent when they was around him, how he tried to keep them calm. And as soon as R. Kelly got in trouble, that's when you started seeing Azrael showing all her ass, showing all her titties. She was the first one in the camera to show everything she got. But when she was walking in that interview with R. Kelly, her and Joy both, look at the difference. All of a sudden, you seen all of this stuff out. She started wanting that booty to be seen. She was throwing all of that out there to the camera. She first wanted to go to the camera so you could see that it was staged and it was set up. And when she went to her platform and she started showing herself dressing in all these provocative clothes. You didn't see Joy carry on like that. But she sure made a scene. She sure wanted to make a scene. She probably even told Joy to dress and put on some nasty clothes, and Joy probably just didn't want to get down with it. That's why she went there to start a fight and stage a fight with Joy. And she was this there to make sure R. Kelly things was being put away safely while she was watching, while R. Kelly stuff was being taken out of the place where he was at the plaza when he was arrested, and trying to make sure his stuff was being protected and taken out. And she went there to start a fight with Joy and try to get Joy into this nonsense with her. Because y'all saw how she started dressing. Those of y'all who followed that whole thing with R. Kelly, you could remember the fight and how Azrael started coming to. She went to I think the shade room or whatever. She started wearing all these provocative clothes, and she started throwing her booty all over the place and acting nasty and saying R. Kelly had her doing all this hoochie. And knowing doggone well R. Kelly wasn't the one making her do that stuff. That was the industry. They had planned. That was the setup. Because if you were supposed to be his woman or his girl, he wasn't going to share you in no bed with nobody else. Now, Drea, that's a whole different story because he met her already in the industry, so she probably was already doing that stuff in the first place with him. Okay, I don't know if it went on while they were married, but I know it's something that she was a part of in the industry as a dancer. Because she was supposed to be engaged to somebody else before she got with R. Kelly. Why didn't she stay faithful to that man? So the obviously told you she was running for the bag. And she was working for the industry. Now she want to put on this innocence. The only people I really truly feel sorry for is them daughters, those children. Because R. Kelly loved his kids. But she also set it up with, oh, he was a bad father. He wasn't paying his child support. He was doing this. He was doing that. When there was times I saw him come out on his concert and he brought his children out on the stage with him. He was such a proud father. Even in his songs, he even did music to celebrate the life of his firstborn son. And when his wife first had their first child, he made sure he dedicated a song. If you ever heard the song, "You Having My Baby." And that whole Chocolate Factory. And when you listen to Chocolate Factory, that was like in the what you call it, of their marriage. Is because I remember when I brought the first CD, and that's when they give like they thanks and they for their fans and everything. And I read the back of it and how he thanked his wife Drea and their baby child and his new his children and everything else like that. He didn't talk too much about his private life as far as his marriage, but when he did, you could hear he was a happy man listening to the fact that he was a married man now, and it's a first experience for him too, and he had to learn as he go along as well how to be a husband, because that wasn't something that was actually demonstrated to him. He had to learn how to be a man on his own, basically. He didn't have a good father influence in his life, but his only thing he had was the church and his mother's love and the protection of his mother and maybe some family members that helped along the way. But other than that, he had to basically pull his own self up from his bootstraps and used what he can to make a living for himself or to make it out in the world. And then this woman that took him on like a son and helped work with his gifts and his talents with him, Miss McLennan, who passed away, like his other mother, that older woman that helped him and everything, while he was in his school years. And when he would tell his story about his life, he would give you a walk through to the places he was growing up at and the places he'd been. And all of a sudden, oh, he was in the schoolyard looking for little girls. When he was just telling him where he grew up at, what was his life like? The teacher that taught, like that experience. Everybody goes back to their childhood where they grew up in their old neighborhoods and everything, and they talk about their life and they telling their story. Well, anyway, I just wanted to talk about Ashley right now, and I'm just saying I just don't appreciate the stuff that I'm hearing on these platforms from these men like Tariq Nasheed and Tariq Radio, whatever the fuck his name is, and this whack motherfucking 100. He needs to keep his motherfucking mouth shut and stop talking about this girl. Don't even speak on her name if you're not going to speak on awareness and crimes and violence against women, and especially black women. They so ridiculous. All the stories that's going on in crimes against women. They can't wait till they could have put their mouth on this beautiful, gorgeous cutie here that didn't give them an opportunity, so they want to tear her down while she's in her grave. Well, not in her grave yet, but now that she's not here, and disrespect this family like that. Like, their life is so dispensable that something like this can't happen to one of them or to their daughters, if they got any daughters, or if they got children at all. Because I don't think nobody want to be with men like that. No white woman, no Chinese, no woman, no nothing woman want to be with men like that. I wouldn't want to be with men if I hear them talk so poorly and so horrible about a dead woman that was killed mysteriously, died in a doggone foreign country, that supposed to went there and had her birthday and an engagement, and you get on your platform. Any woman that with men like that, shame on you. And whatever you get, you should get out. Okay? You should get out. You should really watch men that talk like that about women. And no woman should even be supporting a platform that they sit around and talk that bad about women. So with that being said, I may come back with you later if any other developing stories come around. Ashley, I just wanted to share this. The warning to stop the division. This is not your moment to push an agenda. Anyone creating content about Ashley Robinson, tragic death, and turning it into a war against black women who date outside their race will be reported. Stop promoting violence against women because that's exactly what they do. They are dangerous. I'm just giving the warning that I would not go to their platforms. I will not support their platforms. They need to be canceled. Because there's too many women out here being harmed by men that they push this agenda. With that